Hello and welcome to the Fatpants Podcast. Leading the charge into hot dog summer, you can call me Pants.
And I'm Slacky, lover of all kinds of barbecue, as long as it's from Texas.
What lies ahead is the final battleground for all food disputes, big and small. No matter the state, the culture, or the country, there's one thing that everyone understands, and that is Fatpants. Slacky, welcome to episode 6. We are at the official halfway point for the Fatpants Podcast.
We're still doing this?
Yeah, honestly, the fact that we've got this far is astounding. I would like to start today by diving directly into the most important aspect of the cookout, and that is planning. We talked a little bit in the past on our very first episode about planning and over planning when it comes to activities and things like that. But what do you consider too much planning in regard to like a weekend cookout?
You have to understand that my wife is an Uber planner. And so I'm used to lots and lots of plans. I'm used to itineraries.
Sure.
It actually helps me out because I couldn't be bothered with making a plan or an itinerary about anything. That's why we work so well together. So when it comes to like planning, it doesn't really matter to me as long as it's not trying to, control everything, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like I think, and we talked about this a little bit before we started recording. I had a neighbor who would start like smoldering their charcoal the night before their weekend, and they would just have their cut oil drum of coals. They would just have it cooking all weekend, but they would start it Friday night.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense, especially if you're going to smoke something that takes a lot of time and also a lot of precision when it comes to like cooking meats.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would need to kind of get that coal bed pretty hot pretty early just so it can survive for a decent amount of time to cook meat.
Yeah. So timing aside, like how would you, the collective you, your family, how would you guys go about the planning process for like quantities of food? Do you opt for the everyone brings something and we'll bring the staples, you guys bring the sides? Or is it just kind of a let's run the show and then whatever happens and you just kind of anticipate that some people might bring their own stuff or something like that?
Typically, it's usually pre-planned, kind of what you described, where it's like we would take care of the entrees, the main courses, the meats, and the meats. Have people, bring a side. It's usually some crappy side like potato salad or
Potato salad's not a bad side. We'll
I know it's not,
we'll go there, but
or coleslaw, which is just shredded garbage. And
I like coleslaw.
yeah, I know.
We're gonna come back to this. Don't forget this.
It seems to run easier when you do have a laid out plan. Like you
Sure.
said, we talked about this a few episodes back. Might have been the first episode, where as long as you delegate to people who are coming to the party like what it is that they're going to bring, that way it's
Mhm.
kind of like a checklist has been checked off. We're going to be grilling this, so if people could bring this or this,
Sure.
like a dessert or like a side that they would like to share too as well. So
That makes
when it
sense.
comes to planning, usually the more detailed,
Mhm.
and my wife finds this out a lot of times too, is like she gets really detailed into the planning, and a lot of people kind of like look at her like, like this is kind of dorky.
They almost like
But at
turn
the same,
turn off from it.
but at the same time, though, have you ever been to a cookout where there's zero plan and people just show up and you have 6 people show up with like 2 liters of Coke and nobody brings any food?
No,
And it's like
we
maybe
hate the
if you
soda
had
guy.
maybe if you had somebody who actually took the time to delegate these things, then the cookout wouldn't be a complete
Yeah.
crap.
We said this 6 months ago and I'm repeating it now. The soda
Right.
guy, the soda
100%.
only guy, piece of shit.
The 1 2 liter soda guy. Yeah.
I prefer the person who shows up with cases of like cans
Mhm.
as opposed to like here's 1 2 liter bottle or even like 3 2 liter bottles. Like I don't want 10 almost empty 2 liters soda
Oh yeah.
bottles around because there's so many people who don't want to like be the person to finish it. So you end up with like half a glass of every different soda you have under the sun. And it's just like, all right, well, what am I doing with this? Because you can't like justify anything with that small quantity.
Yeah, it's annoying, where you got like a sip of orange Fanta and a sip of Diet Dr. Pepper, and it's just like
Yeah.
just finish it off,
Yep.
you know. And I'm guilty of that, where like, and my wife hates it when I do this. Is I'll like grab the milk or something and I'll pour it and I'll be like, oh, this milk's almost gone. I'm gonna leave like the tiniest little tiny sip
Hmm.
in the milk carton and put it back in the fridge just in case she needed to like splash milk on something because it's
The
the only thing
the
that's
only
left in
time
there.
the only time that I can justify doing that is if it's a clear container and it's
Mhm.
something like specifically like milk, where sometimes that littlest bit is an acceptable amount. Where it's like okay, I can justify leaving half a cup's worth of milk in here because a half a cup of milk is useful somewhere. But that's pretty far off topic
This
from
is
what
more
what's
along the lines of like a teaspoon of milk, though.
oh
Like
yeah, just drink the teaspoon.
the
Just
only
drink
thing
it.
it would the only thing it would work in is like, finishing off a box of mac and cheese to
Yeah.
stir up the powder in.
Nah,
That's
just
it.
drink it. Just drink it at that point.
I'm a terrible person.
I agree. Unrelated, but I agree. Anyway, as far as things go, and this is a personal perspective, when you're doing the shopping portion of like your prep, when you're thinking
Mhm.
of like your cookout plan, you're like, okay, we're gonna make these, we're gonna make this, we're gonna do this. Do you set like any kind of internal budget in your head, or like physically, and say like, okay,
Yeah.
like let's try to work with this, or do you just kind of get the stuff you need?
I usually go with the budget. It works better that way because you could just go way off the rails, especially like if you're going to a place like Costco, for instance, where
Sure.
if you're gonna grill steaks, like you could get a package of steaks, like 5 or 6 steaks or whatever it is from
Hmm.
Costco, and it's like easy $50 that you've spent right there.
Yeah.
And it can get really expensive. A lot of the times when we do like grilling or cookouts, it's not a barbecue because barbecue is a separate thing. It's you're either grilling or you're cooking. Just wanted to
What
get
if you're
that in there.
smoking?
That's also
Does smoking
acceptable.
fall under grilling?
I think smoking is its own category because those people are crazy.
So if you have a grill and a
Uh-huh.
smoker going,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and somewhere between the two of those things,
Mhm.
there are some steaks and maybe some ribs, etc. But
Mhm.
there's also like the bullshit stuff that you have to have, like hot dogs and hamburgers, which are good. Don't get me wrong. Can
Sure.
you still call that a barbecue?
No,
Okay.
because barbecue is a type of food. It is not a what you're doing with the meat.
So you,
If you're
so
either grilling or you're smoking, grilling is the all-encompassing umbrella under which everything lives, whether it's smoking or whether
mhm.
it's microwaving. But I just hate it when people say, "Hey, we're having a barbecue." I'm like, "No, you're eating barbecue. You're having a cookout or you're grilling."
So you know that
That's my
they're
pet
called
peeve.
barbecue grills, right?
But they're called grills for barbecue.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Just because you shorten a word doesn't mean that it's not that. Like a bus,
Don't
like a school
don't you
bus.
here's the thing don't you here's the thing, me?
So, but what I'm saying is like the word bus is short for omnibus. Grill, short for barbecue grill.
Mhm. Yeah, but nobody uses the phrase omnibus, and
It's
no
on the
one uses
license
the
plate.
phrase barbecue grill
It's on the box.
on the anyways, I have no idea what we were talking.
I'm just saying. It's a barbecue grill. But okay, that's completely fair. What if you have a grill that can also smoke?
Well, you're still grilling and smoking. It like I said, it's an all-encompassing umbrella underneath grilling. I just don't like it when people saying we're having a barbecue. Like, no, you're eating barbecue, you're having a cookout, or you're grilling. It's just a pet peeve of mine, and I'm probably gonna get ostracized in the comments. Just comment down below how terrible I am with my
Yeah,
opinions.
if you hate Slacky, just make a comment. And
If you ate Slacky,
yeah, if you hate Slacky, if you
that escalated.
disagree, doesn't matter. If you hate him, just drop a comment.
My enemies.
Yeah, anyone who has Slacky on their arch nemesis list, like, comment, and subscribe. Anyway, I would say if there was anyone that hated me, nobody hates me though. Someone will. Someone will once the eggnog episode comes out, I'm done
Oh
for.
yeah.
So we went over, let's see. So timing, critical.
Right.
Cost, not critical, but taken into consideration. I think there's a balance to the cost aspect. For
Yeah.
me specifically, like 4th of July is coming up soon or something like that. I would have a larger budget
Sure.
or any old middle of the summer weekend that I'm bored and want to cook a whole bunch of things. I'm gonna have a much lower budget. I might not even set a budget at that point. I might just get the few things that I want and let it ride.
Right. I feel like the holidays kind of have a different feel when it comes to the types of foods that
Sure.
one would grill. So like we just had Memorial Day here
Mhm.
in the States at the end of May. And I feel like Memorial Day is more of a chill and relax kind of like it's like the smokers holiday.
Really, I feel like Memorial Day is more like hot dogs, hamburgers because it's such a like a relaxed holiday. But now that I'm thinking about it, like I think you might be right.
I feel like July 4th is more of a hot dogs and hamburgers kind of holiday,
Mhm.
because there's a lot more going on because it's summertime, the kids are out of school, and there's a lot less time to kind of devote to sitting around and chilling and drinking beer and smoking meats. It's more along the lines of how many hot dogs and hamburgers can I knock out because there's
Yeah,
60 kids in my backyard and good God,
that
they
makes
won't go
sense.
away.
Originally, my brain was going the other way with it, where it's like
Mhm,
Memorial Day is a slower paced holiday. So you're going to do
mhm,
like, you want to do the easy stuff like burgers and dogs because you just don't have to think about it. You can just kind of autopilot it and let it go.
yeah,
But you make such a good point that because it's a slower paced occasion,
mhm, right,
I think you can put more time into making like something that is smoked or something that might take
yeah,
longer. And you're right, like 4th of July, especially like where we are, we have big old hootenannies
mhm,
in the summer with like tons and tons of people. So it's easier to just bang out
yeah.
50 hot dogs in rapid succession and just move on because they'll go quick.
Yeah,
It puts food in stomachs and that's the goal.
true. And it doesn't take they don't take super long to cook either. Unfortunately, like usually the person who's in charge of the
Mhm.
food is usually slaved over the grill
Yeah,
the entire
you
time.
get nothing but the burnt dog that no one wants,
Because you know how it is, like if you turn away for like a minute, your hot dog is usually just a blackened shard
incinerated. They go from not ready to
on one side
incinerated
too.
the
Yeah.
second you look away.
Which is why the most important person in that sense to the grill master
Supervisor.
is the person who brings the grill master their beer.
That's fair.
Because that person cannot leave the grill, otherwise things will get burned. So there has to be somebody devoted to making sure that person has a tasty cold beverage, whether it's a beer or a soda, in their left hand while they're flipping with their right hand.
What if I'm left-handed?
Damn it, pants.
What if I also don't drink beer?
I said tasty cold beverage.
Oh, that's true, you did. Earlier you said beer, and I was already hung up on the "what if I don't drink beer" thing, and then you brought the left-handed thing in, and I was like, "Oh, this is a bigger problem." I'm ambidextrous, it's okay. But okay, so I'm with you 100% in a weird twist of fate. Grill master stays at the grill. If they take their eyes off the grill, everything is burnt. So they deserve like a PA.
Yes.
To you need like a gopher, if you will.
Personal assistant. Yes.
Yeah, I think grill master PA is a that's a reasonable title to have on your CV,
Hmm.
and that's completely fair and reasonable. As far as like smoking goes, I think you can get away with a lot more if you're gonna smoke stuff. I think especially if
True.
you have a larger party planned for an event, so you can have your grill master just kind of like, okay, you're just gonna throw 800 hot dogs on and 65 burgers, and you just do whatever you want with them. At that point, those like burgers and dogs become the appetizer for
Right.
the ribs or whatever you have in the smoker.
Well, I was gonna mention earlier, we talked about the personal assistant or the grill master. If you're doing like if you're smoking, you're doing the low and slow method.
Mhm.
Uh, they had these newfangled
Nope, it's a bad idea.
technological devices where all you do is you just look at your phone and you just sit inside the entire time and keep watching the sporting event and be like, hey, the pork butt doing? Oh, let me just check my phone. Yeah, we're still chilling at 290. We
Yeah.
got another 20 minutes.
Big
See,
big problem with that. It's a two-sided problem even.
uh,
One, 9 times out of 10 when my phone goes off for any reason, I look at it and go, "That looks important," and then my brain turns off and I don't do anything with that information. The other one, is that, and this is not even fictitious, the chance that you could accidentally butt smoke something is
mm,
high. For those of you who don't know what butt smoking is, it's not even close to what it sounds like. It's, butt dialing, but for your Wi-Fi smoker, and it just feels like a mistake waiting to happen. The last thing I wanna do is realize that I went to open TikTok and I accidentally opened the smoker app without realizing it because it's 3 AM and I'm sleepy.
I think we're riding on a thin line here, and the way describe this as if you're using this newfangled technology
Mhm.
to smoke things, I think you've reached a certain point in your life where you've turned in things like TikTok for things like smoking meats
No,
because
I'm
you've
gonna do
reached the
both.
age where TikTok is just you're too old for that. Like you've reached the boomer age.
See, what you don't realize is that my goal is to have a smoker set up outside next to my outdoor chair, and I'm gonna bring my big ass Bluetooth speaker outside, play horrible, horrible music
Mm,
from my computer inside, and then also watch TikToks on my
as
phone.
long as you're having fun.
I have a tangential question to
Mm,
loop in with the cookout plans idea. Who's being invited? Obviously, you're going to invite your all your homies, and if you have
hey,
kids,
oldies.
it's cool to invite your friends who also have kids because then the kids can all occupy each other. But let's say you're not close, like super close with your neighbors.
Mm,
Do you feel any obligation to invite your neighbors to like big functions that you're having?
no.
Interesting.
Let me caveat this with the idea that my wife and I, we are of the opinion where we get to know our neighbors
Mhm.
as best we can, mainly for many different reasons. Um, for social reasons, for hey, we're going to be out of town, can you just make sure that nothing crazy happens to the house.
Sure.
There was one time where our cat Tessie escaped the house and we couldn't find her, and because we had developed relationships with our neighbors, they all banded together and we ended up finding her after like 30 minutes,
Let's
like
go.
cowering under a car. But it's like there are advantages and disadvantages to getting to know your neighbors, and we usually
Mhm.
side on the it's best to get to know who we live around,
Sure.
just for our own, maybe our own kind of purposes, i-
Mhm.
in that way. And sometimes they can come back to bite you, where they just text you over and over again nonstop and won't leave you alone, which has happened. But for me, like I feel no um obligation whatsoever to invite everyone in the neighborhood if I'm having a cookout or grilling. It depends on the size of it.
Sure.
There's no way that I'm going to plan myself personally. I'm going to plan a cookout for the entire neighborhood.
And
Just
that I think that would
I'm
be
lazy like that.
unreasonable to ask of you.
Right. But if I were to plan something, say for a cookout, I would
Mhm.
politely invite people to see if they wanted to come, but I feel no obligation to do so whatsoever.
Sure. So with that in mind, how do you feel about public cookout? So where I grew up, there were a lot of parks and stuff like that that were maintained by the township. And at the parks, they had these pretty terrible, just like metal boxes.
Mhm.
I
Oh
believe
yeah.
you had to call the township office and like rent the space. There was no fee behind it, but you just had to call and tell them that you were like gonna be in that space cooking and stuff like that because it was a public park.
Reserve the
Um,
park, yeah.
yeah, reserve is a much better word, but you had to reserve that little area and then you could go. And one of the things that I always thought was weird was that like it's a public park and
Yeah.
you're there and you're like grilling and having a great time, and like every once in a while you would just like see what looked like strangers just kind of like sneaking into the festivities and grab a hot dog or a hamburger or something and then just like walk away from the park, and it's like you just walked into someone's like private
Hey,
party and took
hey,
their
free
food and
food, right?
left. But that's the kind of thing that always makes me laugh when I see like, I don't know, like, I've moved away from there, and
Uh,
it's just not something that I've really ever seen ever again, like, outside of that instance. I would be so paranoid to have, like, a public gathering like that,
yeah.
and paranoid might be a little hyperbolic because really there's not really a big, oh no, someone stole a hot dog. Like it's not really, I'm not losing sleep over a 6 cents worth of like recycled pork. It's just
Yeah.
like such a weird thing. They'd be like, yeah, let's just have this, let's have our public gathering or our personal private gathering in public and it'll be fine.
The idea of you're right, the idea of reserving like a public space like that, like you see that like with like kids' birthday parties too, where
Hmm.
it's like let's have our kids, fifth birthday party at the park and just police tape off this section of the park that
Yeah.
only, my kid and the invited kids can play at and be a part of. And it's very pretentious to me.
Yeah, I hate to be like, "That's a public space," and I hate to, like, act like that, but it just feels weird that it's like, "This is our chunk of the public space." It's like, "Okay."
But at the same time, being a parent of a now 10-year-old, kids' birthday parties are fucking expensive.
Yeah, it turns out everything's expensive all the
Yeah,
time.
true, especially when you have kids. It also reminds me of the dreaded dun 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 HOA block party
Oh, no.
where it's like, hey, the HOA is going to take all of that money that we've siphoned from you and
Mhm.
we're going to throw a block party and it's going to be absolutely terrible. And we're going to order food, or Jim, who lives down at unit 65, is
Yeah,
going to
fuck
grill
Jim.
for everyone. Everyone's like, dude, Jim burns all the damn hot dogs every time he grills. I ain't
That
going to that
that's
shit.
rough. That's dude, if you hate Jim, like, comment, and subscribe.
Sorry if your name is Jim.
Yeah, if your name is Jim, like, comment, and subscribe. Say you're sorry, please. A cool concept, not for me.
Hmm.
I'd rather just have a thing go on in my own backyard
True.
and call it a day. Like these
Usually
are
with
all my
Yeah,
friends. No one else needs to
that's
be invited.
it's like one of the favorite things that I like to do, like with the close family, like me and the wife and the kiddo and her sister, my
Mhm.
brother-in-law, their kiddo. Like the six of us will get together, and they have a not a huge backyard, but they have enough space to where like he can put a grill back there and operate. And
Sure.
we like to do like carne asada on the
Mhm.
grill and have like steak tacos,
Ooh,
or
that
like
sounds nice.
every once in a while we'll do steaks, or just do the old traditional hamburgers,
Mhm.
that kind of thing. So that's we like to do that and like kind of, but it's like that's our close knit community, and
Sure.
in that particular sense, bringing it back to the whole planning thing, we pretty much have it down to a T, where it's like, they're gonna go buy the meats, and my wife is gonna probably prepare a few sides and take it over there, and we all just kind of eat together. It's a great time. It's like one of our favorite things that we do for each other's, like for our birthdays or something.
Gotcha.
So,
That makes sense. That sounds like that's a nice like family experience. Like I can
mhm.
see that. All right, so you mentioned your wife is typically in charge of side dishes. So let's go over some side dishes
Sure.
as it turns out. Some good, some bad. I have a few kind of off the top of my head. I might pull up a list and see what
The
I can
love
find.
list.
I do love a good list of food to be put into tiers, but this is not a tier list episode. You're all free this month.
Wah, wah.
So the first one, you already shit on coleslaw, and I want to come back to that
Mm,
because coleslaw
mhm.
underrated because
No, it's not.
coleslaw is
It's right where it needs to be.
so coleslaw is I say it's underrated because of how versatile it is. You can do so much with coleslaw because it's just two things that taste like nothing. Mayo, no flavor. Cabbage, when it's shredded, no flavor. Like with those two things, you can do so much. Recently, I got a bag of coleslaw mix. It's just basically just shredded green and shredded red cabbage, but
Mhm,
with no sauce or anything on it. And I mixed in with that sour cream, some taco seasoning, and some other like taco fixins, TM,
mhm.
and made effectively a nacho coleslaw. And that was so good. I could have eaten the whole thing in one sitting.
That's true about most things, pants.
Yeah, I have no impulse control, and that's not what we're talking about today, though.
I just feel like coleslaw is just it's so bland.
Well,
There's
that
the
if
like
if
it
it's
you
bland,
even
you're
said
making
it.
it wrong.
Ugh,
Use pepper, use salt, use garlic powder, use things. But my point is that, like, I think it's underrated because everyone says the same thing. Everyone goes, "Oh, well, it's bland." It's like, yeah, because it's two things that don't taste like anything. Like, if it's bland and you made it badly.
I think when most people think of coleslaw, they think of like the coleslaw from like the grocery store or from
Yeah,
the chicken places that sell coleslaw. And those are very bland, by themselves. I've seen a lot of like chicken places lately, like high end, I don't know, high end chicken place, I don't know.
a
Where
high-end
it's like
fast food chain.
where it's like they take it like a restaurant when they'll take like a hot, spicy chicken sandwich and then they put coleslaw on it,
But yeah,
to,
that's a
to trick
balance thing.
to trick me into thinking that coleslaw is fancy. And I'm like, what are we doing?
I don't think
It's
that's a fancy
coleslaw.
thing. I think that's a they're protecting you from the mild heat because they know your palate can't take the chicken sandwich. So they
I
said,
can
"Let's."
handle a spicy chicken sandwich.
I don't
Thank
believe
you.
that. I don't believe that for 1 second. But anyway, so
Shout out to the hot and spicy chicken sandwich at McDonald's.
shout out to the hot and spicy chicken sandwich from anywhere.
Sure.
Okay, so coleslaw, you're nay, I'm yay.
Nah, I mean, I'll eat it if it's like
You're not
if
going out of
it's
your way
there.
for it though, right?
No,
Okay,
no.
that's fair.
I'm more of a potato salad enjoyer, the
Okay.
non-mustard
I was gonna
style.
say, do you like that
Uh,
disgusting mustard potato salad?
no, mustard potato salad is gross. I don't like mustard anyway. We'll get to that in a
Mustard's
second because we're gonna talk
delicious.
about condiments in a minute. We'll get into a very heated argument here in about a few minutes.
Hey,
But,
mustard's good. We'll get there. But no,
save it.
I agree. Mustard potato salad, not the good one. There's
The mayo potato salad is good, with, like, the red potatoes
mhm.
and
I
and
don't
it that one's
like,
really good.
and I can't stress this enough. I have been served hot potato salad.
Why?
I don't know. But because
Why?
it's not like mayo potato salad. It feels
Hot as
like
in temperature hot?
yeah, like it was warm to the touch.
Ew.
And it's intended to be eaten warm. And it's just like,
Sure it
get the
was you sure it was still good?
yeah, but it was hot. Like it was made hot. And I was just like, are you sure?
Mm,
But like it's still potatoes. So it's not like objectively not bad because potatoes, but
true.
it was, as far as potato salads go, pretty bad.
Mhm. Your thoughts on baked beans?
Baked beans are decent.
Mhm.
Um, in my opinion, the only place they belong is at the farthest end of like the table of foods because they're an afterthought every time. No reason to stress about making them because they all taste the same. It doesn't matter how good you make them.
Do, do,
But yeah,
do.
ultimately, baked beans not great. They're okay. They're okay on a hot dog. That's
Yeah.
about it. Think of like if you would have like a chili dog,
Uh-huh.
baked beans. I am definitely guilty of going out of my way to find all the bacon chunks in the baked beans and take the bacon chunks and throw them on any other food that I'm eating.
Makes sense.
But yeah, baked beans are they're mid. It's the thing that you have to have
Yeah.
at the table because some ass wagon's gonna be like, "Where are the baked beans?" And they're gonna take a teaspoonful and go, "No, these are great." And then they're not gonna eat any more than that. And it's like, all right.
It's true. You could say this about a lot of these sides when it comes to grilling, cookout sides. They're all pretty mid, you know?
I don't know. I think potato salad is as far as barbecue and summer cookout sides go. Potato salad S tier, maybe A tier if it's bad. Coleslaw for me, a high C, low B, somewhere in there.
Mhm.
Again, that for me. Baked beans, they have to be on the table, otherwise someone's going to complain. No one's going to
True.
eat them, so just buy the can. Just buy the
Not
can, throw some bacon in it,
not
and
the
just
gigantic can,
no,
just the
just buy
normal
buy
can.
like the smallest possible can you can, just to appease again the one person who demands them, and make sure that you put them in a plastic cup and give them to that person when they leave.
Damn it, Jim.
Here's your solo cup of fucking Bush's baked beans, you jerk off. Don't ever come back. Anyway, um,
uh,
macaroni salad, I think falls in the same boat as potato salad, where it's like
it's,
it's good. You can make it bad, but like generally speaking, it's pretty good.
you're just substituting macaroni for potatoes at this point.
I can make an argument for both. Some days I feel like I'm more of a macaroni salad person.
Hmm.
Depends on what I'm eating.
Right.
Because potato salad can be good, but if you have a lot of bready stuff, like if you're having like a lot of like burgers, hot dogs kind of stuff, potato salad is just like okay, because now you're running into a lot of like the bread, potato roll, delicious,
Mm, yeah,
great for everything. Potato salad with potato roll, too much potato.
obviously.
So those all exist.
Very underrated side, in my opinion, corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob's so good.
Yes, agreed.
We have a lot of fresh corn here, and corn typically like when we're in like peak corn season, our local grocery stores get it. So like my local grocery store has a sign up that shows all the farms that they get the produce from locally, which is pretty cool. But they do it'll be like 8 ears of corn for $2. It's so good because it's just good sweet corn. You
Yeah.
can eat it raw, you can cook it however you want. I know there's those Neanderthals that put it in the microwave with the
Huh?
husks still on. So it's a
Huh?
whole thing. So ready? So you with the husks on, you
Huh?
wrap it in a wet paper towel and you microwave it and it steams it in the husk. And then you just kind of like shuck it and you're good to go.
They're not competing with tamales, are they?
No, same
Okay.
premise.
Speaking of tamales, the Mexican street corn, the elote,
Mhm.
top tier, top tier. Mwah, chef's kiss. Love that stuff.
I think that I can't comfortably put that on a cookout side dish because it's
Mhm.
I think that's a more regional thing, but Katie makes a very good version of that where it's almost like corn salsa, not salsa, but like a corn salad almost,
Yeah.
but it has like all the spices, the cheese, the crema. It's just super good. We had not too long ago. And I don't know, do you consider something like cornbread a side?
Yes.
And then would you the Duke of can't eat spicy, would you eat
Mm.
honey jalapeno cornbread?
Yes.
All
In a
right, good.
heartbeat.
It's so good.
Yes. The only other thing that I would put in cornbread other than jalapenos is crawfish.
I don't know if I've ever had that, but I would eat that.
Crawfish cornbread is just amazing.
An interesting I don't think I would ever put those two things together in my head just
I
because
spent a
'cause
lot of time in the South,
I was gonna
especially
say
in
that's
Louisiana.
crawfish is not really an easy thing to
It's
come
like one of
across
the things
here.
it's like one of the things that you do with, like, the leftover crawfish from
Mhm.
if you even get to the point where your group is sad enough to not finish all the crawfish on the table,
Sure.
that you would have to have people who would go through and shuck the rest of the crawfish out of the tail, and then you use it and you just cook it, like, within cornbread, like, the next day, and it lasts longer that way. Really, really good stuff.
That makes sense. I can definitely understand that. All right, so we have let's see, cornbread, great. Salad is a throwaway. Like if you want to make like a nice fresh salad, sure. Throw some
What
garbage
what about
together.
a what about a cucumber salad?
Like tomato, cucumber, a little bit of white onion.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
well, or red onion, depending on who
No
you
onion,
are.
please.
No onion? That's fair. I know a lot of people don't like onion in their cucumber salad. That being said, if there's a cucumber tomato salad on a table somewhere, I'll take the whole bowl. The whole thing's mine.
I do like tomatoes. I'll eat some of the cucumber tomato salad. It's good. Maybe
I
throw
could
out
eat
some of the
so
onions.
much. I'm a big cucumber fan. I
Mhm.
like you make a cucumber tomato salad, you throw some like throw oil, vinegar, you throw a little bit of oregano, you throw some feta cheese in there if you're feeling spicy.
Yeah.
Feta cheese isn't spicy, but
I'm a huge fan of tomatoes in general. How underrated is a good fresh tomato, like on a ham and cheese sandwich, or even like on a hamburger.
I think I'm like jaded when it comes to tomatoes because they're just so abundant here that it's one of those things that like I've been force fed my entire childhood. Everyone I know has or had tomato plants, and it's like you like oh yeah, I'd go over to so and so's house and their mom would be like "Oh, here, take this 600-pound tub of cherry tomatoes. Bring this back to your family. We can't eat these this fast." And it's like, "Okay,
I
but
love
but
cherry
I
tomatoes.
but my mom sent me here with a 600-pound tub of cherry tomatoes because we can't eat them this fast." And it's just like, okay. So for that reason, I'm with you that a nice slab of tomato on a burger, delicious. But more often than not, I'm not eating tomatoes by themselves. There's so many vegetables that are like so readily available here, just due to
Mhm.
the nature of where I am, that going out of my way to eat just some veggies is like, okay, like it becomes a chore.
Speaking of condiments and tomatoes, we got to get into this conversation
About why mustard's
the
fantastic.
the go-to condiments for your different grilling cookout meats,
Sure.
especially when it comes to hamburgers and hot dogs. Pants, what is your ideal hot dog?
Hot dog, I want to go regular yellow mustard, ketchup. There's only two instances where ketchup is applicable to food, and it's cocktail sauce and on a hot dog. That's pretty much it. Maybe on a French fry if I can't find barbecue sauce.
I'll agree with you there. And in my opinion, ketchup is good for three things: hot dogs, hamburgers, and French fries. That's it.
I feel
It doesn't
like
belong on anything else.
I feel like the only time or instance that I want or that I'm gonna like not even want, but have ketchup on like a burger
Mhm.
is pretty much if it's like a fast food or restaurant burger where it's already there. I can't even think of a restaurant that puts ketchup on a burger like
Most of
without.
them do.
I'm sure some of
Oh,
them do, but like when I think getting a fast food burger that just has ketchup on it already is
mhm.
fine, but I don't like if I'm gonna grill up burgers, I don't think I'm gonna put ketchup on that. I would rather put like a spicy brown mustard and live that way, or use something better. Again, barbecue sauce. Pretty much anywhere ketchup exists, barbecue sauce can do the same thing but better.
True. I mean, I'm of the opinion where I eat my Chick-fil-A waffle fries with the barbecue sauce. I don't eat them with ketchup. It just to me it tastes better.
Oh yeah.
The best ketchup in all of the land, of course, is the Whataburger ketchup, and I will not take any comments about this whatsoever.
If
Hands
you
down, best
disagree
one.
with
No, no,
Slacky,
no.
just go ahead and you already know what to do. I don't have to say it anymore.
Sure. I feel like a terrible person. Shout out to the spicy Whataburger ketchup too. That stuff is really good.
See,
Um,
like if you're gonna eat
I
spicy ketchup, just have, barbecue sauce.
it's the Whataburger
I've
ketchup.
never had it, so I don't know. Like
It's
I
a
lack the
nostalgia thing.
knowledge.
It's a nostalgia thing, where it's just
Mhm.
like it just tastes like my childhood, and
Weird
growing
sense.
up. Yeah, true. Weird channel.
I'm like, "Ah, yes, it tastes like my childhood."
But when it comes to ketchup, though, like I said, you only need it on three things: hamburgers, hot dogs, and French fries. I grew up in Texas. I went to school in Texas. I waited tables at restaurants in Texas because that's what you do when you're a poor college kid, and you just have people yell at you all day.
Fair.
And we were in the middle of Central Texas where there's just cattle everywhere, and everyone wants their steaks well done.
No.
Cringe, and everyone wants ketchup with their steaks, double cringe.
No.
And it's like, why are you ruining a perfectly good piece of meat with
I hate it.
ketchup?
I
Just if
hate
you
it.
need ketchup for your steak, then you have done something inexplicably disastrous to the steak, and it needs to be thrown away immediately. Ketchup only belongs on hamburgers, hot dogs, and French fries.
Horrible.
In my
Where did
opinion, the ideal hot dog
Oh, yeah,
for
go ahead.
me, getting back to the thing, is ketchup. I like to put shredded cheese
Okay.
on my hot
I
dogs.
didn't know we could use cheese. I was
Yeah,
going
yeah.
purely condiments.
Anything is available. If you want to put ice cream on your hot dog, go for it.
I'd try
Um,
it.
I bet you
A
would.
little bit of mint
Um,
chip. No, mint chip wouldn't go with hot dog.
Probably not. Maybe that ranch ice cream though. I do put mayo in the bun though.
I can't
I
do it.
have done that. I have done that before. I am a crazy person. But you mentioned this before, the potato roll. If you get the potato like
Mhm.
buns
Yeah,
with the hot dog, yeah, that's the top tier hot dog right there. I
I
mean,
could see
we're
that.
not going really high here with hot dogs, but
So, like, if I'm going to the hot dog Build-A-Bear right now, potato bun,
mm,
pepper jack cheese, like a slice of pepper jack cheese in the bun, then hot dog, then spicy brown mustard, maybe some ketchup, and go
uh,
for like a nice spicy dog.
right. I hate mustard. I think this has been well documented. I'm a mayo person. I have lost that battle within my household.
Good.
The child has moved to team mustard.
Yes.
Uh, on the wifey side. They both eat their hamburgers the exact same way: mustard, ketchup, and pickles with
Huge.
cheese.
Pickles
Uh,
underrated. No, I take that back. Pickles are adequately rated. They're delicious. Everyone thinks that.
I can't. I can't. The two reasons why I can't do mustard and I can't do two pickles. I guess the
Do
one
you hate
reason.
being happy?
No, it overpowers everything.
Oh,
It,
okay,
it's
that's
all I
fair.
it's all I taste. Like if I have mustard on a hamburger, all I taste is the mustard, and it just kind of probably because I don't like it so much, or maybe it's just because I'm a super taster. I don't know.
I can understand that.
It overpowers everything. Mustard has a distinctly different taste than mayonnaise does. Mayonnaise,
Sure.
I think, is more of a blended kind of condiment, whereas mustard, I feel like is it's like, hey, what's up? I'm gonna punch your taste buds right in the throat every time. I can't do mustard. I can't do it, and I can't do pickles for the same reason. They're just overpowering when it comes to the flavor. My ideal hamburger is mayo, ketchup, but not a lot, just a little
Mhm.
bit. Lettuce, tomato, cheese. That's my ideal hamburger. Bacon if you have it. Bacon strips if you've
Where,
got it.
and this is a burger exclusive question. Where do
Uh-huh.
you, if you're assembling your entire burger, where do you put the whatever sauces you put?
Uh, Mayo underneath the vegetables, ketchup underneath the meat. Does that make sense?
Yes. So you go like bun, ketchup, patty.
No, I go bun, mayo, lettuce, tomato, cheese, patty,
What? All
ketchup.
right. No, you worship Satan.
Wait, what?
You can't put the lettuce, especially. You can't put like veg at the bottom
I
because
didn't put it at the bottom.
you literally just said bun, mayo, veg.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, so
bottom.
like starting from the top.
So
It's like
so
the top bun.
okay, so
Top
you
buns.
build your burger upside down is what you're saying. Okay.
I
So
guess.
so start from the bottom like you would
Oh,
build
okay.
any other thing.
So from bottom to top.
Yeah, like any
Like
other structure.
sorry that I'm backwards here. Bun at the bottom, ketchup, meat, cheese, tomato, lettuce, mayo, top bun.
Reasonable. I would move the ketchup in that instance to between meat and cheese,
Nah.
but I can understand both.
I'm of the opinion. I'm of the opinion of when you're grilling hamburgers, the cheese goes on while the hamburgers are on the
Oh,
grill.
that's true. Yeah,
Like
that's that's a
if you
good
don't get
call.
the melty cheese from the grill, also put your buns on the grill too. Toast your buns, please.
Retweet.
Don't clip that.
I'll save that for my own personal use. Anyway,
No.
you've been clipped. No, that makes a lot of sense. I didn't even think of that. In my like head canon structure of burger building, I completely forgot the concept of the cheese goes on while it's cooking. I was like, well, that makes sense. But yeah, then I would
Because then you just have cold cheese on a hot hamburger. Like
yeah,
you
that's
got
no
to get the
good.
melted cheese. Got to get the melted cheese.
So here's the reason why I wouldn't put the ketchup under the like between patty and bottom bun is
Mm,
part of the reason is like structural integrity. Like you don't want stuff to slide around.
yeah,
So the juices from the burger is going to stay on the bun. It's going to keep that in place. Putting your sauce of whatever kind on the cheese in this instance acts as the glue to hold the veg in place. And then the other sauce at the top goes to hold that top bun to the veg. Veg slippery. You got to reel it in somehow. But I'm with you that I think you're pretty close to a similar structural build. I can't get behind people who put all their sauces at the top
like
because
mixing sauces.
like mixing sauces I don't care. But if you're putting all your sauces at the top, you're guaranteed to take one bite and it's all going to spill out the back. And you're
True.
just going to look like an asshole who doesn't know how to eat food.
Ketchup stains on your shirt. Way to go,
Yep.
Jim.
Yeah, fucking Jim. If you hate Jim, you know what to do.
It's funny to me too because the worst thing in all of humanity is the dreaded ketchup water.
No.
The jabroni who doesn't shake up the ketchup bottle before they use it, and
Mhm.
all they get is the little water residue,
Any of
and then
those.
it makes your bun soggy
So ketchup
instead of
water,
putting the ketchup on it.
horrible. Mustard
Horrible,
water, horrible.
even
Basically
more horrible.
anything that like any condiment that also has like a water. to it, like it separates a little, like sour cream does it
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah, you have to stir
I
that
just
shit up
hate
now.
it. I don't want that to exist. That being said, now I'm thinking about it. Would you put sour cream on a burger in place of mayo? If you were like, if you let's say not in a cookout instance, but like you're home, you're just like, I'm in the mood for a burger, and you're just flying solo and you make one burger for yourself, and you're like, we're out of mayo. We have sour cream.
This is a this is kind of a funny occurrence too because it happens a lot in my household where I'm out of mayo since I'm the only one
Sure.
who eats it, and if I don't put it on the shopping list, it won't get bought because my wife
Yeah, because nobody
won't
else
think
wants
about
that
it.
disgusting stuff. Makes sense.
She's also not a fan of sour cream either. So also that also falls into that category of the only time we ever have it in the fridge is when I remember to buy it.
Hmm.
And I don't think I would put sour cream on a hamburger. To me, sour cream is reserved for things like Mexican food, uh, like chili. I
Okay.
put sour cream in my chili, which we haven't mentioned at all, by the way, as a cookout food.
I don't
Chili.
think I would consider it a cookout food. Chili in my head, like I understand where you're coming from.
Mhm.
I think the beans that no one cares about is encapsulating enough for chili, because chili is just like it's a topping for
But
stuff. Slacky, what I'll tell you, let me look at our schedule. We can come back to chili in September.
I'll say one more thing about chili, and then we'll leave it for September. It's very similar to the guy who's like, "Where's the baked beans?" You're gonna have a guy
Uh-huh.
who's like, "Where's the chili for the hot dogs?"
And you go,
And you're like,
asshole,
"Get
eat the
out, get
beans.
out! Nobody cares."
You get beans and you'll like it.
What are you, Sonic? Get out of here!
What? I thought you meant like the fast food place, and then I remembered that Sonic the Hedgehog loves chili dogs. So,
Also, Sonic puts chili on their large, gigantic hot dogs too,
oh,
which
was
they
it
call
both?
ponies. Yes, it was both. I
Oh,
meant Sonic the Hedgehog, but you brought
okay.
up Sonic the fast food, and I thought, oh wait,
I was
it works that way too.
nice. Let's go. Checking all the
Dual
boxes.
metaphor.
The only good thing Sonic the fast food place does is, and I don't even know if they still do it, but they do like insanely cheap corn dogs on Halloween.
I like the conies from there, the giant hot dogs. They put cheese on it, no chili.
I don't really think there's a single thing I could name from Sonic.
Super, super, super tangent here. Sonic is very underrated in my
There's
opinion.
not a lot of them here,
Their
and
hamburgers are really good.
there was one where I grew up that like opened and went out of business in like a 3-year window just because it
Yeah,
was good, but like everyone was like, "What the fuck is this?" Because it's just
they get a
not
little
like
they get a little crazy with the drinks. If you're gonna do I mean, just get the classic cherry limeade or the strawberry limeade is
well,
really good.
let's so hold on. Let me pause you there. The reason I'm pausing you is because you mentioned soda, like wacky sodas, and I know that Sonic does do a lot of like their fancy like, oh, well, we put blueberry syrup or blue raspberry syrup in this
Yeah,
Sprite and called it a new thing. It's like, all right, idiot, whatever.
that's called an ocean water.
Yeah, whatever. I know they all have like their fancy schmancy names, but it's just like, hey, we mixed two flavors of soda. It's like, I was doing that when I was 6. Like, you're not innovative.
Sure.
But in terms of cookout drinks, what do you personally always have locked and loaded in your cooler?
Dr. Pepper.
Huge. All right.
Has to be the
Anyone
original, not Dr. Thunder,
no,
not Mr. Pibb.
anyone who likes Dr. Thunder, don't even like, comment, or subscribe. Just leave. Just go.
Just Dr. Pepper is the one seed, will always be the one seed.
Dr. Pepper's
And
unmatched.
un true. Underneath that, I mean, I'm a beer drinker. I like to drink
Mhm.
beer. I am of the opinion that whenever you're grilling, light beer is allowed. So I'm a Coors Light drinker.
Okay.
It's probably gonna get me, in trouble. I
Fucking
don't like Bud Light. Bud Light's gross. Miller Light's okay. Coors Light to me is the better flavor when it comes to the domestic light beers. Probably because that's what I first started drinking when I was of the age to drink. Not that I ever drank before that. As for other sodas, Coke over Pepsi,
okay.
100,000%. The only I think we've documented this before. The only good Pepsi is wild cherry Pepsi. Every other Pepsi is gross.
I would put
The
I
Pete's
would
Pepsi
put
was good.
was gonna say I would put two other Pepsis on the good Pepsis list. It's the Peepsy and the
Mhm.
vanilla nitrous Pepsi.
I'll take your word for it. I haven't tried it yet.
If I'll send you like a picture of it so you know what to look for. If you can
Okay.
find it, It just tastes like if you took vanilla ice cream and let it melt and poured some regular old Pepsi in it. Like that sounds pretty gross. I realize that as I'm saying it, but to taste it, it's so good. And it's like
Is it
you have to make it ice
like
cold.
like vanilla Coke?
I would say that vanilla nitrous Pepsi, very specifically the nitrous one, is better than regular vanilla Coke. And I know that
It's
that is a bold claim,
yeah. No, that's I
but
mean, I
it's
it's fine.
it's a little apples to oranges,
Mm,
because there are a lot of elements of the two that are dissimilar. But like at its core, the nitrous vanilla Pepsi is just unmatched in terms of flavor. Some of the other, I don't know how often you drink soda. I'm not a super common soda drinker,
mhm.
but lately Coke has been putting out like variant flavors. Like
Yeah,
they did the marshmallow, like the artist, not the flavor, but coincidentally both. Collaboration, they did a movement one. They did a different one that I can't think of the name. And they just recently did the champion or supreme or something like that. Not like Supreme the brand. And I can't think what it is, but it's like a gold-ish kind of label, and anytime I see one of those, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll get one. I'll try it. And I recently got the fancy schmancy new one. It just tastes like if I was chewing bubble gum while drinking soda. I was like, this is just not a good
yeah.
flavor.
When I think of old can of Coke, I think of the caffeine-free, the old school caffeine-free Cokes,
Hmm.
where in a goldish color for a while.
Yeah, that I recognize that one. But that's so this label is different. Like I'll send you a picture of it. It's a black label that has like gold edges that almost looks like sparklers or like glitter or something like that, as opposed to just a solid gold label like the caffeine free one is.
Interesting. I don't typically drink a whole lot of sodas anymore. I've
Hmm.
been sticking mostly to trying to drink water,
Yeah.
and other various forms of water, just basically just water. Like if I'm drinking a soda, I'm gonna order. It's gonna be a Dr. Pepper. Like it's
Hmm.
usually the first thing out of my mouth. If it's gonna be a soda or a Coke. In Texas we call it Coke. Everything is Coke.
Wait, like
Uh,
every like
Everything. Yeah, "Hey, can you grab me a Coke?" "Yeah, what do you need?" You know, that kind of thing. It's a Coke machine, it's not a soda machine.
so let me ask for some clarification on this because
Uh-huh.
I know some people that call it pop, and like at
Yep,
least
ugh,
like pop is cringe. I understand
eyes
that.
of cringe.
But at least pop is like it
Stop saying
can be
pop.
recognized as like a global term, whereas like Coke
Yes.
is a thing. So like
Yeah.
would you refer to Sprite as Coke, or does it only apply to like the caramel colored sodas?
It applies to pretty much anything that's carbonated. It's like the all-encompassing term, whereas like for like you said with soda,
Mhm.
it's everything's just called Coke. You know, most of
Interesting.
the, like I grew up, it was a Coke machine, and like, hey, what kind of Cokes you got? You know, that kind of thing. I know it sounds kind of
So like
dumb and idiotic, but
does that become a problem? Like does that become
no, no,
an
because it's
issue at
like,
any
hey,
point in
what kind
time?
of, hey, grab me a Coke. Yeah, what do you need? You know, if I'm asking for a Dr. Pepper, I'll be like, hey, give me a Dr. Pepper. But if it's not available, usually everything's a Coke.
Yeah, but at that point,
I don't know if that makes
why
sense.
would you say like at that point you could just say, "Hey, can you get me a drink?" And then they
Hmm.
would go, "Yes, what would you like?" So
It
why not just say, "Hey, can you get me this specific soda?" to
just,
cut out
just I
the
know,
middleman of
I know what you
conversation?
want from I know what you want from me, Pants. I don't have the explanation. All of my people in Texas, you understand what I'm talking about. And I know they will. You know, it's just the idea that everything is Coke and you just go from there.
Yeah, I can understand it. I think it's dumb. I understand it. It's the same.
So,
It's like when we had the lemonade conversation. Like
yeah.
they're just it's just not the same thing. And it's to me, I'm like, well, this is foolish. But it's only foolish because it's not what I know. Like I recognize that.
After Dr. Pepper, I would probably put Mountain Dew up there, but
Mountain Dew's pretty solid.
I'm not a 23-year-old kid anymore, so I
That
don't
that's the other
typically
thing. I don't think
drink Mountain Dew anymore,
um
except when I'm at the Taco Bell and I get the Baja Blast.
so I'm gonna say a
I
thing
will
and you're
get
not gonna like
I
it.
know, I know exactly what you're gonna say,
Baja Blast is
and
overrated.
I will say it again for the kids in the back,
Baja
Pants.
Blast is disgustingly overrated. It's good. Don't get me wrong. But so help me God, I will never, under any circumstances, like go out of my way and be like, I have to go to Taco Bell right now for Baja Blast. It's not
Nobody
that
does
good.
that.
There's so
It's
many
the it
people.
well, then those are the idiots. It's an added perk to eating or ordering at Taco Bell. Most of the time when it comes to Taco Bell, it'll be like a moment where I hadn't eaten there in like a couple of months.
Mhm.
And the kid will be like, "Hey, let's do Taco Bell." And I'm like, "Sure." And then I'll go to order it, or we'll go there in the drive-through, and I'll look at like, "Oh yeah, they have Baja Blast." I'm totally getting that, But I'm not one of those random nerds that's demanding that Taco Bell release Baja Blast from its incarceration to the world so that we can all have
I'm
it.
pretty sure they did. Like they
And
sell.
nobody cared.
Yeah, because it's not good. So it's the same reason that like that McDonald's Sprite is better than just getting Sprite, and it's because they can change how the syrup distribution is. I'm
True.
sure they have like limits on how far one way or another they can go per like the Coca-Cola company or whatever.
Yeah.
But Baja Blast from Taco Bell tastes better than if you went and bought it in a can from the store or a bottle, whatever. But my
Yeah.
point, generally speaking, is that as far as all of the Mountain Dews go, Baja Blast is only put on such a high pedestal because of its exclusivity. Not a single person, though, talks about the fact that I think it's Little Caesars has their own proprietary Mountain Dew also, and no one knows about it because nobody goes to fucking Little Caesars.
Nobody
Um,
spends longer than 2 minutes in a Little Caesars because they're grabbing a pizza and leaving.
yeah, that's
I had
fair.
no
But
idea that they had a proprietary Mountain Dew there. This is news to me. It's funny to me that, so they came out with the hard Mountain Dews, like the alcoholic Mountain Dews,
do they still sell those?
a while back. I believe they're still for sale, yeah. And I
Interesting.
think they did like the regular Mountain Dew, they did the Code Red, and then I think the Baja Blast was also in that pack too. I think it was a 4 pack. I can't remember what the fourth option was. I haven't tried it yet, probably because it's sugar free and it'll taste disgusting to me because I hate anything that's sugar free. I don't drink diet sodas at all. I can't drink diet sodas. I can't. Diet Coke is
I
disgusting.
think Coke Zero is okay.
I can't do it. It's the aspartame. It's whatever they use
Mm,
for the fake sugar. It leaves a
the
really
film.
awful just taste in my mouth, and can't do it. I can't do any types of diet sodas. It's kind of like the people who like say, "Oh, cilantro tastes like soap." It's kind of the same vein of diet sodas just taste like ass. Whatever.
Except one of those is genetic, and the other one is you're just actively correct that diet soda doesn't taste good.
Sure.
Anyway, so like let me come back to this Little Caesars nonsense.
Let's go.
It's called Sasquench.
Huh?
It like Sasquatch and Quench.
Huh?
It's raspberry citrus punch.
Huh?
It sounds so good, right?
I guess I'm still trying to get over the name of this
Sasquench.
Sasquatch.
Yeah, I just sent it to you.
Let's check this out.
Honestly,
This
like
this is a terrible name, by the way.
if I didn't have to literally go to a Little Caesars, I would drink this. I probably wouldn't drink it frequently.
Huh? When did this come out?
Some
This is
point in time.
February. This is dated February.
This is also this is so it probably dropped like at some
New
point
charge
this
of
year.
raspberry citrus punch. Okay, I'd try it, but like you said, I'm not going to go out of my way to a Little Caesars.
Yeah, at no point am I going to be like, I need to go to a
Uh,
Little Caesars. But if I was stranded in a desert and the only thing open was a Little Caesars, I would consider going and getting this. I
one of
think
the one of the other
exclusive sodas make me mad.
true one of the other Mountain Dews that are really good. It's the raspberry the lemonade one.
um,
They got a million freaking names. I don't know what they're all called.
that one's called
Uh,
Spark. In the tweet that I sent you, one of the responses
uh,
is sounds cool, but why raspberry? We already have Spark. And that person and someone replied and was like, but that one is lemonade. It's just raspberry lemonade.
it's good. I
I've
like
had
it.
that one. I would just rather have regular raspberry lemonade at that point. But
True.
I'm with you. Like that's a good one. Voltage, obviously a good one. There's so many good ones,
Can
but
we agree
you're
that there
right. I'm an adult. I can't be I can't just casually be sipping Mountain Dew like my teeth aren't gonna rot out of my face if I keep it up.
can we agree that there are too many versions of Mountain Dew?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just give you that one. You're 100% right. There's too
It's
many.
like it seems like every Super Bowl commercial, every Super Bowl comes around and Mountain Dew's coming up with a commercial for a new flavor starring some washed out wrestler,
People don't
uh,
realize it, but Red Bull's just as bad. Red Bull puts out a seasonal flavor. Like
mm,
they put out like 3 seasonal flavors a year, but they
there's like
rotate them. So like they take them away and they
there's
bring
like a
new ones out.
million of
So,
them.
but there's a lot of flavors of Red Bull and most of them taste bad. There goes our Red Bull sponsorship, but it's fine. I'm a
No,
Monster kind of gal myself.
I can't do Monster.
Monster's delicious. Monster's
Mm,
good, Rain's good. Rain Storm way better. Unrelated. We can get into that also in September.
true. I used to drink a lot of energy drinks. I used to drink a lot of Red Bull. The blueberry flavor was my favorite.
That's a good one.
And then I realized that I don't think my heart can take much more of this, so I'm
Yeah,
just gonna chill out on it. So I usually don't drink energy drinks like Red Bull unless it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I have to stay up late for something.
sure. That makes sense.
Other than that, it's usually just water and
Hmm.
you know some kind of mixture that gives me some caffeine or whatever. So
Completely fair. All right, so let's do a
uh,
quick recap and then we'll sign off. So
mm,
your go-to grillin' and chillin' bevs include but are not limited to various light beers,
yes,
Coke, water. Or no, I'm sorry, not Coke, Dr. Pepper,
Dr. Pepper.
and some water.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah,
stay
I would go.
hydrated when it's hot out.
True, true. Yeah, always alternate water if you're drinking beer, especially outside, especially in the summer.
Probably also alternate water if you're just drinking soda. Like
True.
don't
Also
just
true.
don't chain drink Dr. Peppers in the sun. You're gonna dehydrate and die.
You're not
Drink
my
some
dad. Don't
water.
tell me what to do.
All right, fair enough. You win. All right. If you're Slacky's dad, like, comment, and subscribe.
He's not listening.
But but if
But if
he
you are, hey
is,
dad.
but if you are, like, comment, and subscribe. All right, Slacky, give us some good cookout advice for the public.
I would say when it comes to grilling cookouts, keep it simple. Don't go too crazy. There's a reason why the sides are very bland and they're very mid. You don't need a whole lot of them. If you're grilling hamburgers and hot dogs, keep your eye on them. Don't burn them. Make sure you've got your personal assistant on hand to refresh you with your beer or water. And if you're going all out with steaks, medium rare. Don't overcook these things,
Medium
kids.
rare is the highest acceptable temperature. That's it. If you eat your steak well done, shame on you.
You're a criminal.
Shame on you. If you've made it this far, thanks for listening. We'll be back next month for a deep dive into the great wide world of ice cream and other frozen treats. This has been the Fatpants Podcast.